when you're choosing a PMS, picking one that has Google Vacation Rentals is what was a factor for me, and it should be a consideration for you as well. What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to get in and give you a little bit of an explanation of why I chose OwnerRez over any other PMS for my Boostly website. So before we get into that, I really wanted to talk about API connections and Google Vacation Rentals to kind of understand where we were going with. API connections is, to my understanding, the back end of what websites talk or businesses talk to get your connections set up. So Airbnb will use an API connection with a PMS, so that way they're mirrored, they're the same, you can share information, and on the back end they all come out the same way. Boostly does the same thing. They have API connections with different PMSs, with different systems, so that way you can use their website. You only have to make edits in one area and it pushes through. It's kind of important when you're managing several properties or managing several systems, so that way you don't have to go in and make edits everywhere. So with Boostly's website, it's going to be a little bit more advanced, like I had mentioned in a previous video where I just gave like down and dirty. But this whole system, this whole tech stack is going to be a little bit more advanced, not for someone just one property who doesn't have their own site and whatnot. This is going to be somebody who maybe has a Boostly site and has questions about what PMS to use, and anyone who maybe has gotten a little bit confused on how a PMS helps with your website, how it helps with your booking, and how it makes things look a little bit more seamless instead of choppy. When I got my Boostly website, what really hit me hard or took me a lot of time was figuring out what the perfect tech stack would be. And I did a lot of back and forth, a lot of questions, a lot of research trying to figure out what would be best. And in that process, I tested a few different property management systems, and I'm going to go through some of those tests. Hospitable has come up quite often lately, and I think it's because it's a lower price product, and I think they give you a lot better option than Guesty for Host. It's cleaner, it ends up being more user friendly, and it ends up working. And so if you're looking for an alternative for Guesty for Host, but you don't yet have a Boostly website, you don't yet look forward to doing direct bookings or having more properties, you just have one, I think Hospitable is probably going to end up being a good alternative to Guesty for Host. I've never tried it, but I've heard good things about it. Something to look into, and it's very inexpensive compared to others. So when we're talking about which PMSs to use with direct booking, what it really comes down to for me, or what was important for me, was the widgets. So let's go ahead and go into my website so I can show you the widgets that I'm talking about. So this right here, first thing on my website is a widget. And so what this allows you to do is put in dates, and this particular widget will search any available property that I'm co-hosting, and it'll show you what's available for those dates. So if we go into this property here, a Dandridge, Tennessee property, it'll pull up that site and pull up the listing. This is just the regular listing that comes with the Boostly site. But this section here on the right is what is part of that PMS. It is that booking widget, and it'll keep your booking within the website. So this is kind of important when you're trying to get direct bookings, because it'll show everything all on the same page. You're not taking to another website, you're not taking to another landing page or anything. You're doing everything here. It'll give you all the information that you're looking for. This is the amount of people staying, this is the amount of nights, this is how much it's going to cost. And you put in your name, email, phone number, anything else, and you can book now or send an inquiry. Either way is fine, but it keeps you within that site. And once you push book now, I think it ends up taking you to a checkout page, which is normal. But what we don't want to see is you're saying send an inquiry or ask a question or request a book, and you're ending up on another page, on another website, whether it's like a Guesty for Host website or whatever PMS you're using website. It just gets really clunky when you have to go through 3 or 4 different pages just to get this booking done. And I think that's a part of the customer experience that you want to streamline and make better. So that being said, Boostly's now on Boostly 3.0 website. Everything's API connected on their new system. And so I think it's important that even if you don't have a Boostly website, if you plan on doing direct booking later on, if you plan on growing your business, it's really important to have the capabilities to do what's going to be needed in the future. So because of that, I have tested out a few different PMSs to make this work. I ultimately landed on OwnerRez, but we're going to go over what I did try and what I liked and didn't like. So Uplisting is a great PMS. I really enjoyed them. They have a great user-friendly experience. They're clean. Everything is great about them. So I'm no longer connected to Uplisting, but just want to show you how clean their website is. Everything's pretty simple, the way that they have everything set up. It's very user-friendly. I loved it. The only issue that I had is it didn't have the widgets that I was looking for. I think it has a single widget, which wasn't enough for me because I was looking for more. It's great they have a booking engine. It's great that they have what you need, but ultimately what ended up happening is it just reverted to a uplisting site, and then like I said, it created that clunkiness. So if it wasn't for that, would have went with uplisting. But if they do come up with the direct booking widget, I totally consider it. I think that they have a great user experience. Now with that being said, as far as uplisting goes, you're really going to need 4 to 5 properties in order to make it more cost effective, because they do charge a start of I think $100 a month. So if you're looking for something that's cost effective, you need 4 to 5 properties for uplisting. And when we talk about Google Vacation Rentals, which was another point I wanted to bring up, uplisting is already on Google Vacation Rentals. So once you go live on uplisting, you can get on Google Vacation Rentals. That's a huge plus for them. If it wasn't for the widgets, like I said, I would have went with them. But now that we're talking about Google Vacation Rentals, you can Google Vacation Rental Partners. You should be able to come up with this site, and it'll go through all the PMSs that are available that will allow you to list your property on Google through Google Vacation Rentals. So you can't just go straight through Google. They use a PMS, whatever your PMS is, and they will allow it to get listed on Google. So here's what it looks like for mine. Now, this is not through my PMS. This is not through OwnerRez. This is not through Boostly. This is through Vrbo. So because of Vrbo's recent upgrade with Hotels.com and Expedia, somehow my property got listed on Google Vacation Rentals. And when it does that, you lack control over what's going to show up. And I don't like this part, and I can't wait for it to go away. But basically, this third-party website, Vio.com, which I've never heard of, is a part of Expedia Group, and it'll allow you to go through the booking process through Vio.com. The problem with this is, like I said, you lack the control over what your listing looks like, how it's set up. It's close to what I would like it to be, but you don't have a choice. So as we go through talking about Google Vacation Rentals, maintaining control is going to be extremely important. When you're choosing a PMS, picking one that has Google Vacation Rentals is what was a factor for me, and it should be a consideration for you as well. So we'll move on to Lodgify. Lodgify, I don't know if that'll allow me to log in, but it is much more cost effective, and it was the first PMS that I tried because it was so cheap. But then I was like 2 hours into it and I got irritated. So I got into the Lodgify. It's not going to show much because I'm not connected to their system. But my issue with them was they try to narrow down everything into less options and less customizations. Then it made it very difficult to use their website. It made it very difficult to get things running. Although they had widgets, which was great, it was so not user-friendly. It was so frustrating, and it just caused me so much irritation that I just couldn't go through with using them. So they were cost-effective if you were looking to get started. I think they become a lot less cost-effective because they take a percentage of your bookings. So if you have more listings or you're really diving into the direct booking things, I don't think Lodgify is a good idea. Plus, they have a bad user experience. So I went away from them. All right. Last thing I did try, or I will speak on Hostfully. I think they probably do a very good job at not only their API connections, Google Vacation Rentals, and everything that we're talking about. I'm sure that they are a fantastic PMS. They do great communications, and I have no problems with them. My issue is that I never even tried them because I had a $600 startup fee to start integrations or whatever, and I didn't want to pay the money to test them out. So if you're using Hostfully, I'm sure they're great. If you're not and you want to try them out, you got to pay the money. And let me know how it goes. The last thing I will talk about is Zeevou. I tried them for a little bit. They had the full API integrations with Boostly, and they had a really neat feature of an add-on, and I thought that was a part of my business plan to add on different features, different, you want to add on a VIP room at a bar. I was looking to do something like that. We could build it into the check-in process. I thought that was really neat. However, I think when I got into Zeevou and their different pricing structure, I didn't like the way that they set that up, so I didn't end up going with them. So where I landed was OwnerRez. And OwnerRez is not for someone looking for something basic. It is very complex. It has a lot of options, but because of that, it gives you a lot of control. It gives you a lot of ability to go in and make changes. However, there is a huge learning curve. This is not simple like Uplisting would be. This is very complex. But because of that, it gives you so much more options, so much more availability to do things that you want to do and set up different systems for all of your different kind of properties. So I have my own properties, I have co-hosted properties, and then I have properties in the collective that I assist with. And so OwnerRez allows me to manage those, manage the systems, and make them all integrate properly. I don't think another PMS, maybe Uplisting could, but I don't think that other PMSs have this much options, have this much availability, so you can go in and make those tweaks. On top of that, they are extremely helpful with getting back to you. They have a setup checklist you go through when you're starting off, and it'll show you step by step what to do, how to get set up. It is time consuming, I will admit that. It's not something like click it and it's done for you. It's time consuming, but in the end, I think it's worth it. You can request extra features, you can talk to them, and they are actually responsive as to what it is you're looking to do. And if you get stuck, you can ask, hey, I need help with the API connection with Vrbo on this property, and they'll go in and they'll take a look at it for you and try to give you an answer how to fix that system. So this is extremely helpful. It's a good PMS system, and especially if you're looking for direct bookings, this is what's going to allow you to expand, make your direct booking website better, and really get into the nitty-gritty of building your direct booking business. And as soon as they get Google Vacation Rentals, I know they're working on it, they've given up updates, they're going to be a powerhouse that the other PMSs are going to have to contend with because it's just such a great system. Now, if you guys have any other questions, you want to know how anything in here works, shoot it to me. I'll make a quick video so that way you can get a little bit better understanding on it. But the reasons why I ended up on OwnerRez is because they are partnered with Google Vacation Rentals. Even though they're not live yet, they're working on it. They have API connections with Boostly to go back and forth, and then you can connect your API connections with Airbnb and Vrbo. And then they have the widgets, so that way your direct booking website has all the options to create direct bookings within your website instead of going outside of it. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope this is helpful. I hope it's a little bit more information than that quick video I made on my phone. If you have questions, shoot them to me and I'll help you out. I'll drop a link in the description so that way if you want to try out OwnerRez or Uplisting or Lodgify or any of those,